There are five Premier Division games in store tonight in the final round before last season's top four begin their European journeys. I'm Seán O'Connor. I'm joined by Aidan Fitzmaurice to look ahead to the action. Aidan, first looking at Bohs against Dundalk, the game you'll be at tonight. Two sides in really different runs of form coming into this one. Bohs, 1 win in 5, and Dundalk 4 wins from their last 5, including that 2-0 win over Shamrock Rovers last week.
Yeah, Dundalk, really the form team is good for them going into Europe. Difficult one for a lot of clubs, the FAI Cup's kind of the clubs in Europe, the FAI Cup kind of squeezed in there as well, which is kind of easy to forget about for a lot of clubs. Somewhere like Dundalk, the FAI Cup is probably the best chance of a trophy. So I suppose the focus is on Europe, but they can't ignore the FAI Cup as well. But yeah, certainly Bohs just can't find form at the moment. I do think they need to add to the squad. They have signed a new Polish defender. I think they need more cover as well in the middle and up front. I think they really need somebody up front just to take the pressure off Jonathan Afolabi, because he's got 3 so far this season. He's just not going to deliver those goals. So Bohs really look like a side very much lacking in confidence at the moment. A lot of eyes on James Talbot. He had quite a poor game against Sligo last week. The Bohs need a lift, but certainly it's Dundalk who are the form side. It's all going well for them. They're slowly getting players back from injury. They've got a new signing. They won't be eligible for this weekend, but if in for the European game. I think this kind of game where I think Bohs would actually settle for a point. Strange to say, they're the home team. They're going for Europe, but I think Bohs just to try and find that win somewhere over the next month, but a point at home to Dundalk probably would have to do them.
And both sides, of course, announcing new signings in the last few days. Moving across the Liffey, it's 2nd versus 9th. St. Pat's host Cork City. The Saints come into this game in really good form, 7 wins from their last 10 and sit just 4 points off the top. Coming into a game against Cork, a game they'd really be expected to win.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at the record the other day. Cork were quite good actually early in the season away to Shamrock Rovers in Tallaght. Scored 4, probably should have won the game. Since then, their away record has been patchy, but the record in Dublin is shocking. I don't think they've even scored in Dublin. They might have scored 1, heavily beaten away to Bohs in Dalymount. I think Cork really just are in that little bit of a struggle at the moment, and Pass has just fallen well for them. A very huge admiring of the work that John Daly has done, keeping that side going without Tom Gravasti and with kind of a makeshift defence, missing Tom Gravasti, missing Joe Redmond, a little bit of sprucing up with the squad even the last week. I think that's important as well, just a little bit of housekeeping. Creda is gone, Odomosu is gone, a couple of players in and out. That just freshen things up. I think that's good business by John Daly and Pats, not even just getting bodies in terms of actually having players available, but also just giving the entire squad a bit of a spruce up, tighten it up, and that's really, I think, with Europe in mind in terms of how they manage that. A lot of clubs struggle with that. Europe is tough, brings in revenue and it's exposure and everything else. But for those clubs in Europe, it does disrupt your schedule, particularly with the Europa Conference, because you're playing Thursday. If you do well, you more or less have a month of playing Thursday, Sunday. I think that's why Pats have done this little bit of trimming of the squad. Ins and outs is good, and I would fear for Cork in that game tonight. I think Pats, just with their attacking options, Mulroney's on form, Owen Doyle to come off the bench. If I was a St. Pat's fan, that's the kind of game you can enjoy. They won't get 7 like they did against CCD last week, but you'd expect St. Pat's to get the win there.
Moving up to the Brandywell Stadium, it was a really eventful few days for all involved at Derry City, with Rory Higgins linked to the Barnsley job this week before he confirmed that he would not be taking that job. They host Sligo Rovers, and it's a game the hosts really need to be winning to keep up the pace with the teams around them, and Derry, of course, still 6 points off the top.
Yeah, Derry really can't afford any more slip-ups, but again, the home form really is costing them, and I think you're right. I think there was an approach from Barnsley for Rory Higgins, and he did move in his press on Thursday to kill it off and admit, yes, that there was an approach, there was interest, which I suppose is a vote of confidence in Higgins as a manager, and in Derry's a club that Barnsley did consider him for the job. Barnsley are a big club. They're in the Premier League not too long ago, very, very close to getting to the Championship this year. But I think Higgins felt a loyalty to Derry. He didn't want to walk away. He feels he's unfinished business there. Bit of pressure on him, this is a big month as well in terms of Europe. I think it was last year they played a Latvian team and they were beaten in the first round. Difficult tie on paper. It looked easy because people feel that League of Ireland should be beating Latvian teams. There's huge investment behind the Latvian side. This time, a Faroese club, that'd be a shock if Derry don't go through that. So there is that pressure on Derry. I don't think there's a pressure on John Daly and Pats to win the league or to finish second. There is on Derry. It'll be a massive disappointment if Derry don't finish in top two. They're expected to at least challenge Shamrock Rovers, and with Rovers having their occasional blip, as we've seen in the last couple of weeks at home to Drogheda, away to Dundalk, Rovers can have those blips. The problem is that Derry aren't taking advantage. They've added the squad. There was a hole in the squad since losing Colin Whelan. He was a player that they relied on. They were looking at him as a 15, 18, 20 goal a season player. He's gone for the season, so they signed 2 players in from Scotland. Sometimes takes players time to bed in the league, so it's not quite a panic buy by Derry, but they really need something else up front because the goals aren't coming. Whelan's injured, McGonigal hasn't delivered the goals that we expected. He had a good season last year, nowhere near hit those levels this year. Derry need to win that game, and Sligo, even with their injuries, I mean Sligo at the moment, they're missing 7, 8, 9 players every week. They lost Dana Clancy to UCD this week. He's gone on a scholarship. Sligo have the potential to turn it around. They did it to Bohemians last week. I think this kind of game where Derry could struggle just with the lack of confidence in the squad, the focus on Europe, a little bit of distraction, and that home form. There's no home advantage to Derry in playing in the Brandywell at the moment.
It's a trip up the M1 for the champions tonight, who face Drogheda. Opposition they've not beaten in their last 5 league meetings. Surprisingly, it's a real potential banana skin for Stephen Bradley's side ahead of their Champions League tie next Tuesday.
Yeah, with the way football is now, with research and data and sports science, medicine, everything else, it's very analytical. There shouldn't be a thing called a bogey team. It shouldn't apply in football. I think there is with Shamrock Rovers and Drogheda. We spoke to Ronan Finn, the start of the work. He denied. He said he doesn't believe in the phrase a bogey team. But I think there is something about football that it's just a venue in particular. Rovers haven't won there in the last 3 games. Even before them, when they did win, they kind of struggled. A lot of teams, it's the tightness of the pitch. It's something about it, and the way Drogheda are set up, the really, really tight unit. They've added to the squad. They've missing Freddie Draper, I think, is a huge loss for them. He's suspended tonight for this game and for previous game, and he's going back to Lincoln. He's a huge loss for them. They've got Evan Weir back fit again. So I think it's one of those cliches where we treat them with respect, and it's a difficult place to go. They're cliches that are tossed around that aren't really true, but I think it really is true for Shamrock Rovers. I think they're going to have a hard night, and point might have to do Shamrock Rovers. I just think something about that ground and Drogheda that Shamrock Rovers find very hard. So I think Rovers might have to just take the point.
And finally, Aidan, the final game of the night is UCD against Shelbourne. 2 draws on their last 3 trips to Belfield, and it's a game Damien Duff's side will be looking to avoid a slip up in.
Yeah, and again, I think they're a side that I don't think the Shells haven't beaten UCD this year. There might have been 2-0 alls. I can't remember. They certainly haven't scored that many against them. Again, the kind of side they find hard to break down. And again, a little bit of changeover in UCD this week. That was a squad that really did need freshening up. They've lost Alex Nolan, but they signed in Atlantic. They signed 1 or 2 others. Sean Brennan, who I think could be a good signing for UCD, brings that little bit of experience. I think Shell's missing Matty Smith. They've got Sean Boyd back fit. 2 players signed from Hull this week. Not sure if they'll be cleared in time to play. And as I said earlier, it does sometimes take players to bed in, get to know the league a little bit, get to feel their way around the league. So I think there'll be a lot of draws tonight. I think just it's a strange kind of week, Sean, with so much focus. I said, though, the bigger test looming, and managers say we're focused, we're switched on, but it's only natural for the clubs to be thinking about Europe.